So we will just continue with the yesterday's. We stopped little bit information are there. So what we did yesterday. One second. Okay. So what we did yesterday, we created a couple of virtual machine related activities. Na? So we created the images. I mean, we have we have captured the image just by going here. We were working on this ecom VM01, right? So when you go to the ecom VM01 or any virtual machine, you have an option called capture. So if you click on the capture, it will ask you to create the image, what kind of image you want, which resource group you want to store the image, and is it a generalized VM or in a specialized VM, and you want to delete the captured image, I mean the actual virtual machine, and all it will ask, correct na? So later we did created one image, and out of by using that image later we created this virtual machine, correct na? So after that what we did, we powered on the virtual machine and we logged into the computer, and we found we were able to see the user account Manju, and also the two files which were there in the desktop. That means we were able to manage we were able to restore the virtual machine to the previous state by taking the image and creating the VM again using the image. So that we discussed. And other thing what I wanted to do is, so we were trying to swap the newly created disk, correct now? So we know that yes, we are able to retrieve the application just by creating the VM image, and again creating the virtual machine using the image. That is working fine. Now what we have to make sure, we need to make sure if we take the snapshot of the disk, and if we swap the disk, will I be able to get the application back or not? That portion you wanted to check, correct na? So what we will do, the same virtual machine, I'll go to the disk now. Okay, we were using the virtual machine called ecom-vm001, and if you see here in the operating system disk, we have this disk actually, the ecom vm disk vm001 disk 1. Okay, some random number is there. So I have already shut down this computer, means this server is already deallocated. See, if you go to the overview and the status, if you look at the status of the virtual machine is deallocated, because whenever you are dealing with the operating system drive, right, you have to shut down the computer operating system at the portal level. You have to shut down. Okay, so now at the portal level I have shut down. You can see after shutting down the computer, I see an option called swap OS disk. Okay, swap OS disk is there. If you want to swap a disk, you just have to click on the thing. So before I go there, let me show you. I have already created one snapshot. Okay, and using that snapshot I have created the disk actually. If you go to the disk option, let me go to the snapshot first. See, this is a snapshot. If you go to the snapshot at the global search, okay, you see this is the VM disk, the OS disk ecom-vm01-os disk 1 snapshot, which is taken on 2nd January 2024, right? Now I have opened this disk and created the I have opened the snapshot and created the disk here. So you have an option called create disk, right? Now if you go to the disk option here, just search the disk and select the disks here, and you see here a new disk has been created yesterday. Okay, you see here ecom-v01. See, renaming option is not available. Yesterday I was telling you, in the cloud you cannot restore it. I mean there is no recycle bin option, and also you cannot rename any services for that matter. That is why this naming convention is very crucial and important. Okay, once you created a disk or any kind of devices or a service in the Azure portal or any other cloud portal, you don't have an option called rename. Okay, so see, now I have created a new disk actually using that snapshot. The disk name is ecom-v01-os disk -n. N means it is new. Okay, so I have the disk ready, and if you look at the owner of the disk is unavailable, means this disk is not attached to any of the computer. If you go to the disk options and if you look at the owner tab here, whatever whatever disk, the owner is blank. That means that virtual machine or that disk is not associated or not attached to any other virtual machine. Okay, now this VM01 disk 1 is there na, this is already attached to this ECOM VM001. See here, if you look at 1D8A ends with 1D 41D8A, correct na? If you go to disk option, 41D8A, see here 41D8A is associated to ECOM VM001. Now if I click on swap option here, click on swap OS disk, it will ask you to select the disk actually. Okay, it will ask you to select the disk which you want to attach or swap to that particular VM or with the existing operating system disk. Click on this. This is the newly created disk which is of ECOM-V01-OS disk-N. It is a 256 GB. Okay, and all the properties, the premium SSD, LRs, all these things are there. Okay, select this one, and you need to specify to which VM this has to be swapped. So this is the VM. Let me give the VM name here. Confirm you want to swap the OS disk for this VM by entering the name of the VM ECOM VM001. See, this is called as second level of validation. I mean, if you want to really perform this activity, if it is genuine activity, you have to manually key in the virtual machine name to which you need to swap the disk actually. Okay, so now I have selected the VM001 and I will say OK. So once I click on OK, it is throwing an error. OS disk swap is failed. OS ECOM VM001 OK from virtual machine ECOM error swapping OS is not supported since VM is not successfully provisioned. Okay, see, it is giving you some error. Okay, what is that error? The VM is not provisioned properly. Okay, let me open this virtual machine. Okay, let me start this VM and see what is the error. If that is not happening, what we can do, I can even swap the disk to another the virtual machine, which another HR virtual machine is there. We can swap it to that, not a problem. I'll show you that. Wait. So let this get power on. To save the timing, what I will do, I'll go to this HRD virtual machine. Nanda, I'll use this VM. Okay, later you can swap if you want. So this virtual machine is deallocated now. Okay, I'll go to the disk options. Now you see here the disk is already there. Okay, HRD VM01 OS disk is there. So what I will do, I will swap the OS disk, select the disk which is of ECOM. This is the one, whatever the security type. Okay, so this VM he has not built in the proper security manner, that's why it is not happening. Let us wait for this computer to be up. Okay, so it is now ECOM VM001 is up and running. Let me try to log in, connect. I'll download the RDP file. It is downloaded. Click on ECOM VM001, connect, and it is asking me to enter the password. So yeah, it is, I'm able to I'm able to log in. We deleted yesterday we deleted the file so to show, that's why we have deleted the file, but however you can see the user accounts there. ls usr mgr, if you go to the users, okay, it is generalized. I think it got generalized. Okay, that's why all the user and all, I think we deleted yesterday, correct? I think we deleted yesterday both the users and the files to make sure no, we will restore it from the swapping option. So let me shut down this one. Or you have another option, if the VM is not supported, you can quickly create a new virtual machine. Okay, just by going the virtual machine here, click on create a new virtual machine. Okay, and you can just follow the wizard here. Say for example, this is a resource group ECOM RG01 and the VM name is ECOM hyphen VM001 hyphen N. Okay, so availability, I don't need availability options, and image is there. I don't want this image. Let me go with server 2016 only. Okay, so this is fine, this is fine. And the size, it is asking, it doesn't have any size, it is telling. Let me select some other size of the VM. Okay, because to free trial subscriptions so it won't have multiple SKUs available. Since I'm already using one, it is not this size is not available here, it seems. See, all the images, size is not available, insufficient quota. See, free subscription means they will not allow you to create the VMs multiple types. Okay, so let me just select any of the one. See, it is asking me to raise a request. Not sure why it is not happening. Okay, let me go here. Come VM001. I need to delete. If I want to create something, I need to delete. That's why it is not happening. Okay, now if I click on this one, if I put VM disk 1, see, now it is happening, because I have to power on the virtual machine once, and then it is taken up actually. So now what I do, ecom v01 os disk n, I am just swapping to this ecom vm001, okay, with that operating system disk. Now you see here it is happening, stopping the virtual machines. The virtual machine will be stopped first, okay, and then the disk will be swapped. Okay, so once the machine is up and running, the disk is swapped. You need to start the virtual machine from the fresh from the beginning manually. Then once the machine is up, you need to log in and verify. The application will be there with as is status. It will take few seconds, like less than a minute. So are you guys able to follow? This is how you can bring the application back. If somebody asked you, okay, say for example they wanted to make some changes, so 3 things you have to make sure the application is safeguarded. Okay, how the application is safeguarded? One thing, you need to have the latest backup. Okay, maybe today morning if you are doing any activity, you have to make sure last night the virtual machine has taken backup. Sometimes the team application owner will tell you, even though you have the backup last night, I still have some data written on the disk. Last night 12 o'clock in the morning, 12 a.m. the backup has been triggered, but after 12 a.m. to today morning 10 a.m., almost 10 hours, I have written some data, okay, and that data is not available in the backup. Even if you restore it, I might lose the data after 12 a.m. to early morning 10 a.m. Correct? Now those data will be lost. So that is the reason you have to go with either snapshot or you need to go with the capturing option. So capturing option, I told you, if you do the capture, the virtual machine will be deleted. Never don't try to do the capturing option until and unless you have very specific reasons there. Okay, but the snapshot is a quicker one. 2 options are there again. Either you can trigger the backup freshly after 10 o'clock today, but if you trigger the backup, it will take 1.5 hour to 2 hours. Okay, but if you take the snapshot, it will complete in less than a minute. And the cost compared to the backup, snapshot is cheaper. Okay, you have to take the decisions wisely whenever you are talking to the stakeholders or talking to your leads or your team. You should speak in this manner. Okay, then only they'll understand if this person has got the technical understanding and capability. Okay, so language matters. Okay, so let me refresh it once. If I go to the virtual machine now here, if I go to the ecom vm001, still running, it's still deallocating, it seems. It's still happening actually. If if I go to the overview and go to the resource group, if I go to the resource group there, then you can see the deployments, what is happening there. Managed this 13 seconds ago, it got something got failed. Okay, let me refresh again. Go to the virtual machine and just check the disks actually. No, it's still the same. Okay, I think I would have not done it. It got deallocated now. So if I go now there, ecom VM001 and go to the disk options. Let's again go here, disk, and check which one is still there. See, this ecom OS disk N is still there is no owner associated there. Let me click on OS swap, select the disk and select this VM name, copy and paste it here. And now maybe I'm not sure what's the problem. I'll just check it. Okay. Yes, this is generalized VM now. That's why what we can do, we can create a new VM. Wait, we'll do one more thing to do this successfully. What I can do, I can go to the RG, okay, and I'll delete all the devices, okay, except this VM disk, okay. Only this disk I leave it. Rest everything I'll delete it, okay. Delete. Whenever you try to delete anything, it will ask you to type delete. It's a two-way authentication, okay. Multi-factor authentication kind of, okay, a two-level authentication. So let me delete this one, then I'll freshly build a VM, and I already have a disk which is created newly, and I can swap it. Because I don't have quota to build a VM here, I am unable to build a VM. If I go to virtual machine here, I am unable to build a virtual machine because I already use a quota here. See here, if I just go to resource group, I can select ecom RG01 and virtual machine I can give VM001. Western Europe, availability I don't need any redundancy. Image I can even go with marketplace 2016. Okay, and the size, if I come here, see, it is not allowing me to select any sizes. DS1 V2 was there, this one 3.5 GB one, but since I already have one virtual machine, I don't have quota left out. Okay, that is the reason I am deleting this. So let this get deleted. After that I can build a virtual machine and swap the VM disk, the operating system disk, and you can check the application will be back online. Okay, so this is still going on. Yeah, executed successfully. See, now except this disk I have deleted all the items. Okay, now I'll go to the virtual machine. See, this VM001 is not available there. So what I can do, create a virtual machine, refresh it once. I'll select ecom RG001 I'll just tell ecom -vm001. Okay, and the region is Western Europe. Availability, I don't need any redundancy. It is a test server, and image I can select 2016. Okay, and the size, see I got two sizes available now. One is this 3.5 GB wala. I'll just use it because I deleted one and I got one. That is the reason. Local user account is like local user, local administrator, local administrator, password @123, password @123, PASSWORD @123, PASSWORD 23. Okay, so this is fine. Public inbound, I'll have to allow the RDP. Fine. Disk, I'll just create one operating system disk. I don't need any data disk. VNet, I'm using the by default one. Okay, next everything is review and create. I don't have to worry about other things because they are not mandatory. Okay, now I'll click on create. Once I click on create, it will take less than a minute or two. Your machine will be ready. See, this is how the Microsoft or any cloud works. Actually, you are sitting in India somewhere in the corner, okay, and just logging into the portal, accessing the data center, and deploying the virtual machine. Okay, how easy it is. Imagine in the real time offices, it's so difficult. See, the virtual machine is built now. You can see your deployment is complete. You can just click on the go to resources. Once you go to the click on the resources, you can connect to the virtual machine and see. Okay, click on connect virtual machine and download the RDP file and just log into the VM. Okay, so PASSWORD @123. Okay, yes. See, you have logged into the VM, but inside the VM on the desktop you don't see the two files. Okay, the test files and some two files have created a backup something related. Okay, those files are not there. They will not be there, and even the username won't be there actually. See, there is no file on the desktop. If you look at lusrfgr.msc, if you go there, in the local users also you don't see any user accounts there. See, if you create the user accounts here in the local user, they will be called as local users, means they are not the Active Directory users. Okay, you can sometimes the machines will be there in the work group and you will not be able to grant access from the domain. That time you can create the user accounts here. This is called local users, and if you create the users in the Active Directory, they call as domain users. Okay, now you know the condition here. I don't have any file informations there. Then let me go to the virtual machine here. Okay, so go to ecom VM001. Let me log off this one, otherwise it won't happen. Log off. So now I'll go to the disk options. Go to the disk app options. Select the. Why it is not coming? Okay. This VM will be stopped. OSS will be replaced. Any existing data on the disk will be lost. Correct. That's fine. Let me shut down the VM first. Stop. Yes. You have to deallocate the VM. See, if you deallocate only, the hardware will be freed up there in the data center. In the cloud, deallocate means stopped. When you stop, then only the billing will be paused. Otherwise, the billing will be happening. Okay, the meter will be keep on running. It is now stopped. Let me go to the disk options here. It is deallocated. Go to disk options, click on swap disk. Why it is not coming? Okay. Not sure why it is not reflecting here. Need to check why it is not happening. Okay. Normally what happens, the disk should be there in the same RG, but here also we have kept the disk in the same RG. Okay, we'll do one thing. Let me recreate the disk again. Wait, from the snapshots. Okay, I'll go to the snapshots. Oh, snapshots also got deleted because I deleted everything now from the same RG. That's why it is not there. Okay, so what we can do quickly, I'll just go here. Okay, and I will take the snapshot of the disk actually. Here and create a snapshot. To take the snapshot, you don't need to shut down the VM. Okay, so ecom rg01, this one is ecom -vm001 -snap. Today's date is 3rd 1st 2024. Okay, Western Europe I'm going to create. This is all fine. This is zone redundant. Okay, review create. Then we'll create one file on the desktop and then we can just do the testing, not a problem. So what I will do, I'll just power on this VM and connect once. So now let me log into the VM. Okay, so anyway I've taken the snapshot now. So on the desktop I'll create something. Okay, I'll create maybe some file I will create. Okay, imagine this is a change. Okay, you are making some change. Okay, this change is like test, and you have created user account also. Okay, you have created user account here in the local users. You have created a new user called Manju. Password @123. Password @123. User must not change the password. Create. Imagine this is a change, you have done it. Okay, and due to some reasons this change caused some issue with the application, and what you need to do, you need to restore it back. Okay, then what you have to do, you have to go to overview. You can, why it is not still not showing. You can go to the disk now and try to swap it. Go to snapshot here. From the snapshot you create a new disk now. See, this is a snapshot. Open the snapshot. See, ecom vm001 snap 3rd January 2024. Create a disk out of it. Create a disk. Click on the create a disk, and then keep it in the same resource group, not a problem. Disk name you can give ecom -vm001 -os disk. -n. Okay, this is the disk, and it is zone redundant is the no redundancy. Okay, so no redundancy, so that you can pull from wherever whatever zone you wanted. That's why it was not happening when I created previously. I've created it in some zone. Okay, that is why I was not able to select that. Okay, since I now wrote no redundancy means it will, I can even use uh, whatever zone I wanted. Okay, so let me create it once. Size how much is there? 120. Okay, fine, create it. Now I have created the disk from the snapshot. Okay, once the disk is ready, then I will go to the VM. Then I'll go to the VM here. I can stop the VM and I can swap the disk. So I think it got created now. Go to resource and you see now, go to the disk option better, and you see here in the disk option a newly created disk ecom VM01, then created see ecom VM001 OS disk n, correct na? This is unattached. See, owner is no owner is associated here, correct na? So now if it is stopped now, let me go to the disk. You can type disk here if you want to see disk. Actually, go to disk option here and you see the option called OS, swap OS disk. Click on that and select the disk you wanted to add. See here, this is my ecom VM OS disk n, and the virtual machine is there. This is the virtual machine name. You need to copy this VM name and put it here. Okay, and you click on OK. Now the swapping will be done. It got initiated. We need to wait for that to complete. So once the swapping is done, see, the OS disk swap is completed. Now if you look at the OS disk name, it got changed. See, the disk associated is now ecom-VM001-OS disk-n is there, correct na? Now if you go to the overview blade here, okay, you can start the virtual machine. Once the virtual machine is up, if you log into the VM, you don't see the two files which I created on the desktop. I created one test file and also one user account I created. With this, what I did, I removed the change whatever I did and I brought the server back to the previous stage. Correct na? That is the intention. How can you bring the server back with the previous status? Correct na? The previous condition. That is what I did now. So let this get turned on. It is starting the virtual machine. Yeah, it is completed now, started the virtual machine. Now what I will do, connect, click on connect. Okay, if you know the public IP, copy the public IP, go to mstsc run, okay, and just put the public IP address, hit enter. Even this way also you can log in. See, PASSWRD@123. You're done and you're logged in. And now if you look at the desktop, right, you don't see that file I created on the desktop, and also the user account is not there. It will not be there. That means I have brought the server back to the condition before I do the changes. So my application is safe, or my computer server is safe. Okay, see, there is no file on the desktop, and even if you go to the run local user manager .msc, if you look at, Even there you don't see any user account. See, if you go to users, see Manju user account is not there. So this is how you will safeguard your application. Okay. So with this, we have even tested the snapshot. I mean, restoring the VM back by creating the snapshots, and then from the snapshot creating the disk, and then swap the disk to the virtual machine. Okay. Now to make sure, if you go to the disk option, if you refresh it, the owner, see, for ecom VM001 OS disk N, the owner is now this VM001. See, now it has gotten owner associated with that disk. Okay. So people will ask you, can you please give the orphaned disk information? What you have to do, you have to come to the disk options and click on everything and export it. Export to CSV here. See, export to CSV, and open the CSV, and whatever we're in the owner tab here. Okay, put the filter. Put the filter on the owner tab column. And just filter the empty one. Empty, if you put, you will see all the disk which is orphaned, means it is not associated with any of the virtual machine, and these disks are lying without a owner. Then you can calculate the cost, how much you are spending for this disk, and you can tell to the customer, I can see there are 100 virtual machine disks is there, and those disks are not associated with the virtual machine, and I can see the cost of this disk actually is so and so rupees or dollars, and if you are okay, we can just delete them. Okay, that is called as the cost optimization exercise. Okay, that you will learn once you start work actually. Okay, so with that, I think we are done with this disk one. Let me stop the recording.